And what will we be talking about today? We'll be talking about how to use tarot in ways that you didn't think you can, because I know that tarot has a reputation for being like for fortune telling, or tarot has a reputation that it's very scary and stuff like that, but I just want to tell you guys that it's not scary. Let's also examine what is fortune telling, okay? So fortune telling is the practice of predicting information about a person's life. I know that in tarot, basically what happens is that people think that, oh, you know what, you go to a tarot reader and they tell you what's going to happen like in the next 5 years, and then you just sit there and wait for things to happen to you. In reality, I don't use tarot for that, because basically what I use tarot for is for the present, to understand the present, to understand what's best for me now, instead of trying to see too far ahead into the future. So I want to share with you about like 7-ish ways that you can use tarot which is not just like fortune telling stuff. So number one, basically what I use tarot for is the present, and then to make decisions. And what I use it for example, right, if I have a choice, two choices, it's like should I do A or should I do B, then I'll pull two cards, and then based on the cards I will make my decision. But of course it doesn't mean that whatever the card shows I just follow blindly, but it's more like so for example, should I join this course or should I join that course? And if, for example, that course is something that I actually really want, but the cards kind of give like a bad answer, what I would take into consideration is really thinking about, okay, I want course B so badly, but what are the things I haven't really considered about, and what are the good things about course A that I can consider. So it's really just like diving deeper into what you might not know, or even diving deeper into your own self to understand more about what is happening now. So let's just all stop thinking about tarot as something, someone like a gypsy lady, which is a bad word, don't use that word. Basically like a lady with a turban, and then she's like, oh, I'm gonna like read your future. I don't use it as that. So definitely I use it more for the present than for the future as well. So, and then also I asked on my Instagram for people's like what they use tarot for. So I have this person called clarity.pandowl. They say that to know themselves better and to explore things that they even hide from themselves. So what do we mean that explore things that we hide from ourselves? Because when you look at the tarot, there are 78 cards, and then the 78 cards, some of them are pretty similar, but a lot of them are quite different. What will happen is that we will pick cards where we didn't really think that is happening in our life. So for example, I probably shouldn't use this. I'll scare all of you guys, but let's just also talk about death. So death in tarot itself is really about endings, and that new beginnings are coming in. So for example, if I do get a reading where the death card comes out, I don't freak out. I don't just like throw the cards and then run away. What I would do is really examine what needs to end and what needs to come back in. So because there are 78 cards, there are 78 things you kind of need to know. But of course, one of the ways that you can read the cards is basically just to tell stories from this. So that's like one way of using tarot, to like dig deep into yourself, and then to also uncover things that you are also lying to yourself about. Because let's face it, we lie to ourselves all the time. We think that, okay, you know what, I want to do this because of like reason A, but sometimes the only reason you want to do that is because you're trying to people please, or you are trying to think that, oh, you know what, society says I should do this and therefore I do it. And when a card shows you something that triggers something inside you, so for example, if I say, okay, I want to like go into this job, and then what I got is this card, it is the Three of Swords. Look at it. What do you see from it? This is basically like a heartache, and then there's pain, and then there's just this very sad card. So what I would examine is that, okay, what is it that I'm not thinking about this job that is causing me all this heartache? So it's a way for you to explore deeper into yourself, instead of just thinking, you know what, this is a surface level things that I'm thinking about. You look at the cards and you dive deeper. And some people might say, oh my gosh, you know what, if this card shows up, does it mean that I cannot do it at all? No, because I would recommend that whenever you have a bad card, you pull another card to say what I should do next. So for example, I got this one, what I should do next, which is one of the daily cards I got recently. Basically, it's just to work hard and to know that the rewards don't come in so soon. So see, like how we're using tarot now, we're just not using tarot as a way like, this will happen to you and then you have nothing to change. You're gonna sit there and just like don't do anything, because your life is in your hands. You are the one who is in charge. So always remember that you are the one who is in charge. So even if the card says something stupid, you can always pull another card to see what else you can learn from this. So this is basically like one of the ways you can use tarot. And also, if you're someone who like wants to start journaling, because when we are journaling, we're like putting our thoughts into paper, we're taking out like the messy things inside our head, putting it out on paper, and then to just like clean up shit. Because I heard this analogy like recently. So someone is saying that when they journal, they're able to like so imagine if you don't journal, right? You have a lot of things inside your head. It's like having 100 tabs opening, and then you have to like journal it out to like, okay, this tab is about this. If I write it out, I can close that tab. So basically, you can use tarot as a way for you to help you journal, because sometimes you sit in front of your journal and then you're just like, I don't know what to write. So you pull a card. So for example, this one, ooh, it is about deception. Then you're just kind of, okay, what is in my life currently there is something that is related to deception, and you can write a lot about it. Can I tell you something? I have a lot to write about this. Definitely, I'll go journal it later, but this card is coming at a very right time for me. So it's about deception, it's about like trying to take more than you can handle, and then trying to get away from it. So this is one of the cards, and then you can use this as a journaling prompt as well for days that you don't have anything that you want to write about. And then speaking of journaling prompts, this can be used for creative writing as well. So for example, if you are writing a story, or if you want to like write a novel, you can always pull cards to like create characters. You can always pull cards to just like create like different plot lines for your people as well. And not just writing novels, you can creatively write about anything else as well. If you are a poet, you can always use tarot cards for as a prompt for you to write. And guys, I recently got braces, so it's kind of hard to talk. And I'm going to talk like this. Okay. And another way we can use tarot is for meditation. So I have a friend called Gabriel. Gabriel runs a tarot meditation. So what he does is that he would take major arcana cards, and then he will lead sessions where basically everyone meditates about the card. So for example, I joined the one on the Lover's card. So what happens during a tarot meditation is that you look deep inside the card, and you kind of like evoke whatever feelings you're feeling about the card. And also the process that he used was also very interesting, where you walk into the card and you try to interact with the different people inside the card, which is very nice, right? So I walked into the Lover's card and I could hear. So basically, this also requires you to have a bit of imagination as well. So I would say that if you are someone who is like quite imaginative, tarot is something for you. If you are too analytical, if you're too logical, and if you are someone who just like, I need the correct answer, tarot might not be the good thing for you, because you will just be like too focus on, I need to get the right answer, when in reality tarot is something that's more fluid than that. So when I was doing the Lover's card meditation, what happened was that I walked inside, and then Eve was just like telling Adam, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. And then I could relate back into my life, where basically there was something where I was just like telling people, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong. And then it's a really interesting way of meditation, because sometimes when we think about the term meditation, it's like you sit there, you think about nothing, and those are pretty scary. I've actually been to a meditation camp where it's like silent meditation, 11 days of not talking, 11 days of basically trying to like clear your mind. And it can be pretty tough, because basically what happens every day is that we have so many things inside our brain, and trying to just like be silently meditating can be hard. But if you have something to focus on, to just like put your focus on and to just like concentrate on, it's a way of meditation as well, because basically what you're doing is that you are putting whatever worries you have away, and then you are just like focusing on one thing. And by focusing on this one thing, for example the Lover's card, you are able to focus, you're able to concentrate, and you're able to like just keep your monkey brain a bit tame. Because I don't know whether you guys have heard about the monkey brain. Basically it's just like something that's just like freaking out inside your head when there's no need to. So tarot can also be used for meditation. We talked a bit about this. So tarot can be used for deep discovery. So for example, I have a particular tarot spread that I really love. It's called like I don't know what to ask tarot spread, where it examines what's happening now, what's our block, what we are thinking inside, what we are presenting to other people, what's in the past and what's in the future. So I use this tarot spread when I don't have any questions, and when I just need to examine deeper inside myself. And through this tarot spread, what happens is that it triggers things inside of me. So for example, that I have to admit that I'm someone who just like sweeps problems under the rug. I'm basically just like, I'm just not gonna look at this, I'm gonna sweep it under the rug. And with tarot, I'm able to see that, hey, you know what, this is something that you are not trying to see, you are not trying to face, you're just trying to avoid, and then why don't we actually take time to explore it. So one of the examples I always give is basically when my mom had cancer. I keep getting this card called the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords, imagine, I don't have it now, it's somewhere inside. Imagine it's someone on a bed, they're sitting up, and then on the wall there are 9 swords. So that card, what that card tells us is basically someone with a lot of like mental anguishes, mental pressure, because the swords is about the mind, and then the swords is a very sharp thing, you can cut through things, and it kept showing up. And I was like, I don't understand this card. I don't understand this card. Until one day I realized that the card was just trying to tell me it is okay to face whatever is causing you problems, whatever is causing you. It is okay to face your fears. Because I was trying to not think about the worst case scenarios. I was trying not to like freak out too much, that I wasn't even trying to connect with what I was feeling inside. Of course, we can understand that we're not trying to like freak ourselves out. We're not trying to like be too negative thinking, but if, for example, it was me in the past where I was just basically not even thinking about it, it is not healthy at all, because basically you're not trying to solve the actual struggle of like being able to see something in the face and being able to accept it. So for me, that particular story, that particular card is very hard hitting, because for me it's basically telling me that, hey, you know what, this is something that you can look at. This is something that you can, yeah, so Juno, hi, this is something that you are able to face as well. And thankfully blessed that my mother actually like had her cancer treatment and everything's well as well. So that is one of the major stories that I have when it comes to tarot. And another way that we can use tarot card is for intention setting. So intention setting is also called goal setting as well. So if you follow me, I do this thing called the new moon intention setting, where every new moon I pull a card for myself to see like how I can reach this goal or what might be blocking my goal. So tarot is something that's very useful. So for example, you have a goal and it's just like, how can I achieve this goal? And this card comes up, it's telling you to find someone who has more knowledge, who find someone who is more senior than you, and then who has more like book knowledge even, to help you out with this. So it's always great to have tarot to just like sort of, it's a guiding hand as well, to like help you along the way. Do not ever think that tarot is the only tool that you will need, that you can use for decision making, because I've also seen people where every single freaking day they just like, every decision they make, they pull a card, and then they're just like very focused on, you know what, the card says Queen of Swords, so that's why blah blah blah. For me, no, it's like, if you are pulling cards every day and then you are just like relying on the cards too much as well, it's not great. I know sometimes I do that, and sometimes when I realize that I keep pulling cards and instead of trying to face the problem head on, I know there's a problem. So I know I teach tarot. I'm trying to convince you guys to do tarot, but I'm also trying to convince you not to use tarot too much, because I want you to be like an independent person as well. I want you to be your own chariot, to be your own driver of your destiny. So tarot is a tool that is helpful for you, but don't put 100% like 100% I don't want to say the Chinese was Eli, like relying too much on it as well. So another way that we can use tarot as well is to this is very funny. It's called to relieve anxiety. You guys know that recently, no, not recently, I'm very old, but basically a few months ago, there's this thing called like the fidget spinner, where people like, I don't know, I have like foundation on my table, they just like spin this fidget spinner thing to relieve anxiety. Sometimes I do that with the cards, and then basically there was recently I had to like talk to someone, and it was very anxiety, like it like created a lot of anxiety inside of me. What I did was when I was talking to the person, I was just like shuffling the cards as I was going along. Basically, it's a way for me to just like exert the energy that is like inside me, inside my head. It's just like, oh, I'm very stressed, let's just shuffle the cards as a way of de-stressing. So I know I know that if you don't really know how to shuffle cards, it might be difficult for you, but once you get a tarot deck and then you can start shuffling, it can be one of the ways to relieve anxiety. But as I mentioned as well, I know it's like, learn tarot, don't use tarot, learn tarot, don't use tarot, but I have like a like a push and pull between tarot. It's like you don't want to rely too much on something. You want to also be able to like make choices on your own as well, which is why I always recommend people to have a good balance of both. So this is one of the ways I relieve anxiety, and then also this is one of the ways I relieve anxiety, but by pulling cards to see that I'm just like overthinking something. So for example, there's a tarot spread on my website called what he thinking about me? I think that's a tarot spread. So basically it's a tarot spread for you when you are thinking about, oh, you know what is that other person thinking about me? So a lot of people use it for romantic relationships, but I also feel like it's very good for business relationship or even just like normal relationships to tell yourself that you might be overthinking things, because sometimes people really don't care about you, and then the cards show that and you're just like, okay, I'll listen to your cards. So that's one way of like relieving anxiety as well, to just like really tell you that you are just a bit overthinking things. So that's one way we can use tarot to relieve anxiety. One way of using tarot that is not just fortune telling. And then also using tarot as a temporary answer. The reason it's a temporary answer is because I want eventually for you to be the one to make the decision, to be the one to like find the answer for yourself. So tarot is a great tool for you to examine what the different paths are. I want you to make the decision on your own. I want you to be like understanding that whatever path you choose, you are the one choosing it. You are the one who is making the decision, because sometimes I do understand that sometimes clients come to me because they don't want to be responsible for their answers, for their choices. But I'm very glad that the clients who come to me, because I won't say because that my price range is kind of higher, I do feel that I filter out some of the people who just don't want to take responsibility for their own choices, and then they go to tarot readers, they go to the cards, and then basically they just say the cards say this, my tarot readers say this, so I'm not going to do that. So this is a way that they are not taking responsibility for their lives. If you are taking my tarot class, if you are coming to me as a tarot client, this will not fly. I will not let you be like, I'm just gonna like let all my decision making be on the cards. This is not someone I want to work with. This is not someone I want to have as one of my students. So it's just also a disclaimer as well for me to just like not have too much headaches, because you guys know some people, right? Basically they just always like, they don't want to make the decisions on their own, and then they ask you for opinions, and then when they do whatever you said, they will come back and blame you for it. I don't want you to be that person. I want you to be someone who's proactive in life. I want you to be someone who takes charge. I want you to be someone who is in charge of your own life. That is my motto. That is what I preach. That is what I believe in. Thank you so much for being here, everybody, and I'll say bye bye. Bye bye.